Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to make the deck of the boat. So as you can see guys, we need to join together two plywood for the boat deck, and you need to measure it with the actual size of the boat and cut them. So here I am cutting the doubler of the boat. And the doubler will be placed in the middle of the foam. Next, I need to do an epoxy on it to cover the underside, guys. So here we are now applying the epoxy to the doubler, and we let it dry. For the leftover epoxy guys, I just applied it to the deck support of the casting deck, so that we don't have any so that we don't waste any epoxy here. So next day, the epoxy is already done, and in here you can see the deck supports on the front of the boat. I'm just removing the clips. Next, I go back to the doubler. You will need some screws here guys if you're gonna epoxy it. So I use the peanut butter consistency of Cabosil or non-sag in the local store. And when it's finally done, I just unscrew the screws here and put more of the Cabosil and epoxy mix on the holes to patch it up. And once it's all patched up guys, I apply the epoxy on top of it to the deck. So here I'm working now with the deck of the boat. We need to measure everything here and make sure that the measurement is correct. The boat plan does have a measurement for the deck of the boat, but you need to really get the actual measure of the deck. And then you're gonna slowly cut the sides of the deck here. Unfortunately guys, you can see that the upper portion, I think I cut a little bit too much. So I needed to correct this problem. But first we need to make sure that all the deck is really snapped into the top of the boat. So carefully we cut little by little on the sides. Don't cut too much, because if you cut too much and you make a mistake, then that's gonna be very hard to correct. So here we are gonna be cutting what's on top of the boat here, and then we're gonna do a fiberglass butt joint to piece them together. Once again, you need to really measure them carefully so as not to make any mistakes guys. If you make a mistake, then you'll need to buy another plywood guys. So you need to really measure them and make sure that they really snap onto the boat. If you need to get the adjustments, just shave them off on the sides little by little. So now this is how I do the fiberglass butt joint. We need to epoxy first. And once the epoxy is finished, we put plastic. Preferably the plastic you use is thick enough. And then we just put some weights on top. So once that one is dry, we flip them on the other side and apply fiberglass with epoxy. So this is me now. It's a little bit windy, guys, and finally it is done. We now have the full deck with the fiberglass butt joint. So here I need to epoxy the underside of the deck. So I'm putting some plastic in case it sticks to the boat. We're just gonna spread the epoxy here. More or less, yeah, it is a considerable amount, guys, of epoxy. I was a little bit surprised that it needed a lot of epoxy here. Some boat builders don't really do this kind of step. They just, you know, fiberglass the top, but for me, I reinforce the underside by putting epoxy on it. You can also fiberglass it if you want. That will make it even tougher, but it's really up to you guys. So now it's done, and we need to glue this deck onto the doubler. So I need someone's help here because this is gonna be really fast. I'm using a fast cure epoxy, but if I am using a slow curing epoxy, guys, then I think that is more beginner friendly. So I'm doing it fast here, guys, because the epoxy I'm using is a fast cure epoxy. After that, I screw the deck. I'm using a 1-inch screw, flat head. My son is trying to help me out here, and I'm working really fast because the epoxy is already drying out. So you will need an impact driver, cordless impact driver. So after that, guys, we unscrew all the screws we have on the deck, and then apply again a mix of Cabosil and epoxy. So you could also use wood dust. I think wood sawdust. Yes, wood sawdust. You could also mix that with epoxy until peanut butter consistency. Then you apply it to the holes of the deck. And then we finally epoxy, guys, the sides of the deck. We are now so we're still patching up all the holes here, guys. And then finally we are gluing the sides of the deck here with our Cabosil and epoxy mix. Again, peanut butter consistency, guys. For the leftover epoxy, I just use it to patch up all the remaining holes, and some of it here in the butt joint. So basically, guys, that's it. That's how you put the deck of the boat together. We finally have a deck now, and it will probably work on the casting deck supports. and then we will fare this boat. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.